is too early to thank God. Those are the words shouted by the assassin who killed Tsar Alexander II of Russia in 1881. It was indeed too early to thank God for what was coming next. After 4 assassination attempts, Tsar Alexander II was fighting the revolutionaries with more vigor than he had previously, which provoked them into launching a new assassination attempt. On March 13, 1881, members of the Narodnaya Volya, or the People's Will, threw a bomb at a carriage that was carrying the Tsar over a bridge. Interestingly enough, the carriage had been a gift from Napoleon III of France. The first bomb did not kill the Tsar, but a second bomber in the crowd threw a bomb directly at him. The bomb exploded, taking off his leg, cutting open his stomach, and mutilating his face. The assassins and their accomplices were executed, but the words spoken to the Tsar were an eerie premonition of coming events. Before his assassination, Alexander II had been working on plans to reform Russia's government, to make it more democratic. He had sought to liberalize and reform Russia. Alexander II was succeeded by his son, Tsar Alexander III. Because of his father's assassination, Alexander III became convinced that reform was a mistake. He returned Russia to an absolute monarchy. Alexander III was a reactionary ruler. He expanded the powers of the secret police and prosecuted groups that favored reform, both revolutionary and moderate. He also took away the powers of the zemstvos, which were local governments in favor of absolute rule by the monarchy. Fearing uprisings from the same groups that had killed his father, Alexander III placed large sections of Russia under martial law if any of the inhabitants were suspected of treason. In the second half of the 19th century, Russians made up only 40% of Russia's population. More than 100 other ethnic groups made up the other 60% of Russia's population. In order to solve this so-called problem, Alexander III banned the use of any language other than Russian in schools. He also reversed much of the Europeanization movements that were originally started by Peter the Great. Alexander's Russification program did not do much good for the Russian people in the long run. Instead, it repressed non-Russian groups and made them angry with the government and more prone to rebellion and violent uprising. After Alexander III's death in 1894, his son Nicholas II assumed the throne of Russia. Nicholas ended up being just like his father. He once said, "I shall maintain the principle of autocracy just as firmly and unflinchingly as did my unforgettable father." Nicholas's reign was ultimately a disaster, plagued by World War I and the Russian Revolution. Now, to recap.